Hello and welcome to the Residual Royalty Academy. If you're not subscribed to the channel, be sure to do that and also turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos in this brand new series. So this is the Alternative Publishing Income series. So we're diverging from talking about low and no content books and even a little bit about high content books, and I'm giving you some ideas. I'm not saying I'm the expert on ghostwriting or editing, but having hired some ghostwriters and hired some editors myself, I know a couple of things about it and I know you can earn money by doing it. So let's get straight into this one. So in the last video, we talked about becoming an ACX narrator. This one, as I say, is all about ghostwriting and editing for other publishers in order to make money. Now, again, just a preface, I don't edit books or ghostwrite books myself, so my experience purely comes from the publisher side of it, of working with ghostwriters and editors. So I know a couple of things about it, and that's why I'm qualified to make this video. So who and why hires ghostwriters? So many authors don't have time to write multiple books themselves. So they hire a ghostwriter, somebody who writes the book for them, but doesn't get credited with their name on the book generally. So James Patterson, I believe he's the second biggest selling author ever in terms of dollars. I could be completely wrong about that, but I know that he uses co-writers, not necessarily ghostwriters, because I think he does include their names on some of the books. He uses co-writers or ghostwriters, so he obviously is paying them, and he just provides them with a good outline of what he wants the book to be about. They write the book of it for him, and then he's going to edit it and make sure that it's up to his standard. So it's what I and many other self-publishers are doing with whatever books they're making. So for me, in my case, it's 30,000 word non-fiction books, and there's a lot of demand for good writers. So if you have the ability to write really well, then this might be a good option for you. So where can you get hired? There's two places. So you can possibly get hired by a ghostwriting agency, such as the Urban Writers, the Writing Summit, Hot Ghostwriter. Just check out their websites. You may actually need experience and some portfolios of your writing in order to get onto there. Or if you want to build up some experience, you can become a freelancer on Upwork. So if we go into Upwork now, you can see that there are a bunch of different writers. So this person here has earned a pretty nice amount from writing these books for other people. You can see there's a bunch of them, and there's also some ebook editors, which we'll talk about later on in this video. We'll just touch upon that at the end, but you can see there's people editing books and making good money doing it, so it's definitely an option for you. So let's go back onto here. That's where you can get hired from. So on to the next question now. How much could you earn as a ghostwriter or an editor? So from my personal experience, from the first two books that I had ghostwritten, I paid $380 for the first one. That was on Upwork, 30,000 words, or maybe 32,000 words. The second one I paid $350, and that again was on Upwork. They were not the best writers by any stretch of the imagination, and better writers can demand more. So those books that I paid, I think that's pretty much the lowest end for a 30,000 word book, and I had to do a lot of correcting and editing the book to make sure that they were actually readable, make sure that they flowed, make sure that they weren't repetitive. So you could definitely earn more than that if you're a good writer and you got some good abilities with the old keyboard. So for books 3 and 4, I used the ghostwriting agency. I paid between $500 to $600 for each book. Of course, the agency, the ghostwriting agency, is taking a cut, so maybe the writers are paid $300 to $400 each, unless they're salaried. I'm not really sure how those agencies work. So you can clearly see that you can earn money whether it's as a freelancer on Upwork or whether you manage to work for an agency. So the answer, how much you could earn, depends again on where you're working, whether you're a freelancer, whether you're salaried. But the answer probably is going to range from $300 to $1,000 per 30,000 word book. If you want to make a 15,000 word book, you probably divide it by 2. If you're making a 60,000 word book, then just times it by 2. Obviously, the better you are, the more you'll earn. The same applies to every concept as it did in the ACX narration video. So how long would it take for you to write a 30,000 word book? Well, from my experience, the ones on Upwork took 4 to 6 weeks for the writer to finish. The one from the agency, that was done in kind of 3 weeks, but I think sometimes these writers have multiple projects on at a time. As a general rule, you could probably write 2,000 words in a day. So if you're doing this consistently each day, you could probably get a book written in 2 to 3 weeks. So depending on where you are in this scale, it's not too bad of an income. Maybe it's not so good as the ACX narration, and maybe it's not so good as being a publisher. But if you're pretty short on money and you're desperate to make some, then you can't really go wrong with ebook writing or ebook ghostwriting. So now we've covered everything to do with the ghostwriting. Let's look at the editing. So the same concept applies. People need book editors. In actual fact, I'm hiring one right now to edit one of my books. I'm aiming to pay around $100 for the proofreading and editing of that 30,000 word book. Again, you can get hired on Upwork or through an agency. Editors are obviously getting paid less per 100 or 1,000 words, as it's an easier and faster job. So maybe if you're short on money and you've got some writing skills and you want to just kind of work in the publishing game, then maybe this is a great option for you. So I hope that it's been a useful video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss part 3 And part 3 is going to be about selling interiors, doing cover design for people, maybe being an illustrator. So just watch out for part 3 of the Alternative Publishing Income series coming soon.